All right, good evening. I call the Planning Commission for December 1st, 2025 to order at 7:02 PM. First things first, roll call. Chair Tessman, I'm present. Commissioner Maruziak,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Present.
Commissioner Hurley,
Present.
Commissioner Lambert,
Present.
and then Vice Chair Kilcup, I'll note for the record, did email requesting excusal due to being under the weather. So I move that we excuse Vice Chair Kilcup. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And hearing none, that is approved. Thank you. Next item will be agenda approval for today, December 1st, 2025. I move that we approve the agenda as written. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. That passes as well. Public comment, we do have in-person attendees. Before I officially open it up, is anyone here to make comments for the agenda items? Okay. Okay. No worries. That's great. We're happy to have you. So with no one in attendance desiring to make comments specifically for the items on the agenda, we'll close the public comment period and move on to minutes for November 3rd, 2025. I move that we approve those as written. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Hearing none, that is approved as well. And now let's move on to new business. The first item of which is Design Review Board discussion on signage. And I'll turn it over to Director Davis.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for coming tonight. It's nice to see you here for our last Planning Commission meeting. I want to start by saying that what we're doing tonight, I don't think has typically been done with the Planning Commission before. Typically, you will hear Design Review Board applications come forward once a formal application has been filed. But in this case, we have two different business owners that have some conceptual ideas that I thought might be interesting for you to kind of see early on in the process, be able to give a little feedback about those ideas before they go out and spend a lot of money on design that maybe wouldn't end up working. So we're going to start out. We've got two different business owners here tonight, and one is going to talk to you about some signage and color concepts on their building. And then the other one is going to talk to you about their new business and a new structure proposed on their business. So let's start with the signage one. I'd like to introduce you to Nick and Amy Hamilton. They are purchasing or leasing the facility next door to the brewery that was once the thrift store that kind of is tucked back off of Falls Avenue. And so they're just going to kind of walk through some of their design concepts around signage and colors tonight and just get your opinion. And just, this is mostly just open discussion. There's no decisions being made tonight. Once the Hamiltons file a formal design review board application, then we'll go ahead and bring that back to you for a decision. So with that, Nick or Amy, do you want to if you want to walk up to the podium, you can just kind of start introducing your project, share your screen, and yeah.
I'm doing this. Figuring it out.
Us too.
Don't mind us.
It's all new. It's okay.
All right.
I don't know if you said what we're putting in the space. I guess I
You
can
can,
say that.
you can start
Yes,
talking
I
about
thought
it.
I'd let you introduce it just because I don't know if people know yet. So I thought it would be fun for you to be able to share. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be putting in an arcade. So
Oh, wow.
the retro arcade. So like a lot of 70s, 80s, 90s arcades with air hockey, pinball, all that fun stuff. So yeah.
And you live in Snoqualmie, right?
Yes.
Yes.
About 12.
Okay, great.
2 kids, and they're both excited about the idea. And I think the whole community just needs a fun indoor space like this.
Definitely.
All right.
gone through a few designs, trying to figure out how to make an arcade still look arcade, but follow the color palette that's downtown.
Did we mention how lucky you are? Because earlier this year, the color palette was very limited.
Yeah, yeah, we had a lot of discussion around that. And trying
Thanks to the
find
hard
out-
work of the planning commissioners, we've got something new, so.
Yeah, so we had gone back and forth on quite a few different designs, and some concepts, and kind of landed on a couple different ones. So this is the initial one. We've got a pie man there, with just some generic signage with some lighting, and then basically it's a wrap bordered color.
Hard to tell that's a blue on the building. if
Yeah.
You can't tell.
Blue and gray, and then we have another
And the other options,
version of
very
that.
different.
Oh yeah, we'll share it. It's gonna be picky. Yeah.
Take a minute.
Okay, let's do it this way. Then we have this, it's a little more late 70s, early 80s, with the color palette. And then a little bit natural wood behind our main signage.
The main exterior of the building, you can't tell on this, it's actually metal siding. So we'd be adding the wood texture, paneling behind the logo there.
Couple different zoomed out shots just to show the rest of the space with the Neho.
Perfect.
And then the art building next door. So that's kind of set back quite a bit. So we've been trying to figure out a good way of highlighting that the arcade is there, but not making it too much of an eyesore.
Not at street level. We have a huge
Yeah.
parking lot in front of us.
So yeah, so those are the main two. We've gone back and forth and thickness of stripes, playing around with other colors and stuff, just trying to figure out what works. We realized that the initial blue design was starting to look a lot like our house. So we started moving it away from it a little bit, just to try something new.
We were told the retro alley can't be internally lit or backlit, so we have 3 lights above it shining on the logo so you can see the logo.
And that was true in both designs, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess let me poll the commission, kind of free flowing, but any questions, thoughts, or comments, Commissioner Muzak?
Just an observation, and I'm dating myself a bit. When I see Pac-Man eating dots, I mean, I immediately think arcade,
Yeah.
faster than the rainbow. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's just my initial impression, but, no, I like what you're doing.
Awesome. Commissioner Murphy?
Yeah, same feedback as Commissioner Brusiak. I thought the Pac-Man really was, it spoke, the image spoke louder than any words.
Mhm.
And I'll just say personally, I think, this is something, having more indoor spaces for kids and just for families is something that I think we have talked about and oftentimes lamented, on the planning commission, but then just as residents.
Yeah.
So I think, very excited to see kind of this project and what you have going on here.
Yeah, we are too. It was a big thing for our kids, like having to drive 30 minutes out to get to anything remotely close to like this. And that still not being like a super great experience, like bringing this as a really community-based thing for the kids and just everybody, especially me.
It's for adults, kids, all ages, because there'll be a snack bar and we'll also have alcohol available there. Everything will be in cans, canned beer, cider, wine,
Yeah.
but then all ages. We'll have apple juice, we'll have Red Bulls for the teenagers, something for everyone, soda.
Yep. A place for the parents to drop off their kids and go to the brewery or Neho or eat out for a bit and have some peace and quiet for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Commissioner Hurley?
This is one of the best pieces of news I've heard this year. No, I think this is fantastic. I think it's good for tourism and I think it's good for the community and families and everyone that live locally. So I'm really glad to see you guys are doing this.
Great.
So, yeah. I agree on the Pac-Man now. That does really,
Yeah.
that pops a lot. It's great.
Awesome. Commissioner Lambert?
Yeah, out of curiosity, how far off are you from the color palette on either one of these?
So
The-
these are all on palette. So we pulled directly from those colors. Our
Okay.
initial designs were much brighter. And so we kind of pulled it back to keep it in line. Yeah.
Neon sign and stuff.
So that was a thought in my head was, and I'm not sure we covered like stripes. I think we just thought like whole side, X color, trim, Y color. And I don't think we thought about patterns or stripes or even though we had the candy shop
Yeah.
before that, you know?
So we can-
Right next to a peak building, so.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, and
Stand out some.
And I have the current imagery up, and I mean, did you have anything else, Commissioner? I'm sorry. I think a +1 on the Pac-Man. I think like that design strikes a good balance between what you're trying to achieve in terms of hey, we're here and this is what we're about, without being like overbearing or whatever. So I think that's awesome. But like looking at the existing structure, I think that paint scheme combined with what you already see on Añejo, I think it goes together well. So obviously, if it's in keeping with the approved paint schemes, which I know that yellow trim is and the black, so I think we're in good shape there. I would have many more reservations about the second design,
Okay.
the stripes. But yeah, I think anything we can do for more indoor entertainment is a plus for the community. So
Yeah.
so excited for y'all.
Great. We're excited too.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the time where it's like really needed, so.
But it's gonna take a while to set up. We'll probably open around July, so it's
okay.
a long process.
Yeah, the weather is gonna slow the build out a little bit, getting people here working on the interior, but
Awesome.
Except
late spring, early summer is the goal to get open.
And there's like Director Davis said, this is our first time kind of doing this format or whatnot. Is there any other feedback or information that you're hoping to gain from the Planning Commission?
Not too much. Hopefully, trying to finalize something so that we don't have to go back and forth actually once we start
Yeah.
doing the exterior changes and getting approval and everything, just to speed up the process. I would say that the palette, while better now, it's still limited, at least in like the measurable amount of like trim colors that can be used and stuff can sometimes make it really difficult when you've got this big giant wall and you're trying to break it up. So just something maybe keep in mind for other businesses and stuff as they're getting started. But
Very good.
Yeah, other than that.
Director Davis?
I just had one thing, and I think I expressed this in an email to you before we scheduled this, but is there any issue with the Pac-Man, like using that from like a
So,
copyright
yeah,
standpoint?
so that's a legal gray area as it stands right now. For the most part, like the color is off of their brand color, and with just the character and dots, the less of the overall design that you use usually generally falls under fair use, so they're not going to get bothered by it too much.
It's not a part of like our logo.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
not
an
part of our
ally.
logo or branding or marketing materials or anything, so.
Okay, great.
Councilmember Johnson?
I also think that this would be an impossible position for Pac-Man to be in, having
Yeah.
eaten the dot
Yeah.
to the left of Pac-Man.
That's why, see, he's just a half-eaten pie, chilling.
Just sitting there, that's right. Yes, sir.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Yeah, we did
It's
see
parody.
There's also a
You'd
an
never have those dots
arcade
behind
in,
them.
what's it, Auburn, that also has like
Monroe does, 8-Bit and Renton, they have this big giant mural of all the characters, and they've been around for years now. The place in Monroe's been around for 30 years. I think if it were to come up, probably would have come up by now, so I'm not super concerned about it. Yeah, as long as we're not putting in the ghosts and a bunch of other stuff and having that really marketed as
Mhm.
part of the arcade, I think we'll be fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
Perfect. Yes.
Chair Testament, sorry, do we have any rules as far as murals and or like artwork on buildings? Because I'm thinking of like the on the side of the candy shop, we have that giant mural
Yeah.
that doesn't describe to our building paint colors, and I'm like, you've got an arcade, you've got a mural of all of the arcade games. How does that work inside of our paint scheme?
Yeah, I defer to staff. I do remember us discussing that with the candy shop repaint in terms of the desire to preserve it untouched, but not, like any retroactive grandfathering or anything like that, but
It's my
Director Davis?
understanding that the murals would go through the art commission for approval.
so, okay.
not
So that's something to
specific-
think about maybe if you're interested in that.
Okay.
doing a mural.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna cost a lot more. We're kind of on the top of our budget
Yeah.
already, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's a great design.
Are you leaning one way or the other? Like, what's your I mean, obviously we've expressed our preferences, but
Yeah, I mean,
that-
we've gone back and forth. This had been our final, we were pretty happy with this. And they're like, yeah, we'll just take another stab at it just to try something different.
I was kind of liking the 70s just because, I don't know, when I had to scrap this one and go forward, I don't know. I kind of liked the wood panel look. It kind of gave more focus on the logo maybe by highlighting that area, but I think I could be happy with either
Yeah.
one.
I mean, she's got probably 24 variations of this design, and the other one that we could go through. So
Like on this one, I would have liked to do where the stripes are at the bottom. I would have liked to do a yellow bar too along the bottom, but the yellow we used on this had
was the trim.
was a
so.
trim color, and you can only use a certain percentage of that color in the design. So I couldn't put the yellow on the bottom. It would be too much of the yellow.
Unless that's something that we can revisit. And then if that's the case, then it's something that we might incorporate more of.
do we have any restrictions on the size of the lettering on the side of buildings? There are.
Yes, yes, which is why I think this design jumped out at more people because it is when you're driving by or walking by, you're not really, it's a little hard to see with the letter restrictions. And the Pac-Man kind of you knew instantly what was there.
Right. And because we're so far back, and
Yeah.
we can't have a sign at street level is another rule.
Is there any exceptions to that? Because I mean, I understand the winery not having an 8 foot tall sign, you know, but they're
They could
100
have
feet
an
off
A
the,
board out at the sidewalk.
huh?
They could have an A board. So they could have that kind of more of a temporary sign to be closer to the sidewalk, but there's really nothing else in the code that helps them.
Hmm.
That speaks to businesses being far back from the parking lot.
So I think our next step would, once this was approved, was to submit a permit for the size of the logo, right? There was a permit for that?
That's all part of your sign permit. So you'll do a formal application for a sign permit, and then that will go through the design review board. So in that, you'll show your colors, you'll have to give something to scale to show how tall the letters are, what the different colors are you're using.
Okay.
And bring in samples if you have it. If you're showing some kind of a, like the wood panels, for example, you'd have to bring in samples of those.
Okay. And I don't know if we ever got the number for this sign, how big the sign could be. I don't know if we ever saw that number.
We can run through that with you. I think that might be in your pre-app notes,
Okay.
but we can go back and look at that.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
and help you with the code, navigate the code on that.
Okay.
20 square feet, that sounds right. Yes,
No matter of stretching up and down.
yeah,
Okay. We'll have to
yeah.
measure that
I'm
out.
not sure if that will fit. We'll have to look.
Yeah.
And see if because I thought there was also something about letter and number
letter, yeah.
sizes that couldn't exceed like 20 inches or something, but I may be wrong. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay. Great.
Awesome. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're
Sure.
super excited
Yeah.
and wish you the best.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, that concludes new business number 2, design review board discussion on signage. We'll move on to design review board discussion on structure. Dr.
Okay.
Davis.
Well, many of you probably know Jana and Dimitri there. They own the mini tree house, and they have currently purchased the building that's right next to Carousel Candy. And they're,
Building, Carousel Candy is in the building. It's
We
all
own-
one
it's,
building.
it's all in the same building, yes. So I'll let you guys present the project because you'll do a much better job than I will. So,
Sure. So I don't know if some of you have seen kind of the concept of, well, you've probably seen us block off, and we've had that for a while. We're working on that front. Almost done. We're looking at January for move-in, so fingers crossed. We didn't make it into Christmas, but that's okay. I have to tell Nicole that. She'll be sad. But anyways, so we are going to redo that entire front end. So now Railroad is going to have a really beautiful new building. It's going to look like it's brand new because we're doing brand new windows, really large retail windows, doors. And then covering it with brick. Yep. And the goal is I'm going to be moving Mini Treehouse, the current little white building in the corner. I think everybody knows who that one is. I'm going to be moving that over, and I'm doubling up my space, which is awesome because we're kind of bursting at the seams over there. And however, we have realized that I'm moving, but I have no office or storage space at all because all of it is retail with just like a tiny hallway and a bathroom in the back.
Well, she wants to take up all the space for retail. We don't
Right.
want to waste that, space and we have that big lot on the back. It's just a gravel lot.
You can keep talking.
So what we're trying to propose, and we'll share some photos. We got the space cleaned up on the back. Originally it was part of the antique shop, and they were storing all sorts of things. So as they moved out, they took some things from there, and then we cleared out, removed different structures and sheds and everything that was there. And right now we have a temporary container there. It's a shipping container, and we're using that for construction purposes, for storing, equipment, tools, material. But our hope is to be able to use that container for some office space and storage to make it not permanent. It'll be temporary because our plan is to build back there. Actually, we want to add more retail space with more apartment space on top, because the building we have right now is retail below, first floor, second floor we have an apartment, and so we want to expand the back side of it as well, add some more retail on that gravel lot, and then add some more apartments on top. So this would be for a year or two, depending on how our planning and financial and everything works out. We want to create some temporary space. Now, one option obviously would be, the more cost-effective and faster option is leaving the container sort of as is, where, you kind of see the container panels, but building in doors, windows into it, repainting it a little bit, creating some trim look around it.
Okay, I wanted to show what the backside of this building has looked like in the past couple of years. And what storage looked like back here. Then we also have this lovely tower that some of you are probably familiar with. Probably doesn't even look that good right now. It's kind of broken. And then this is currently where we have this is what our current building looks like. And this is where we're currently have the dark green. By the way, this dark green is really, really similar to the color scheme. And we're more than happy to repaint it to the approved color list in order to have that. And then now let's go to the renderings. So this is rendering one where we stay, where that dark green is the color scheme from the approved colors, which is like a hunter green. I have the exact code, it's just not with me, but it would look like this if it was to be, if we would even be approved to move something like this forward. But again, it creates office space and storage space for the retail in the front, which is very dire without having to pack up in the back or putting in temporary sheds or something else. And then I don't know if Dimitri mentioned, this is also temporary. Our goal with this building is to remove this in a couple years and build up that entire building so that it has retail on the bottom and residential on top. That's the end goal. And I know we've already talked to Mona about that because that's, you know, why we purchased the building. That's why we invested into it. We also want to invest into the city. So this structure that we want to present, we understand it's nothing in code or in anything that's ever been approved in the past, but it's something that will help our business out for a couple years while we build up. So, and then we did different renderings. So this was one with the kind of the original metal look, which gives the look of, what did you call
A
it?
shipping container.
Yes.
A bit.
And then,
Right.
and then we have renderings that look like this, that can give it a nice siding, wood paneling. And then,
You know, just another option. So basically, the more cost-effective, faster way would be to keep it as a container and add windows, doors. We would add electrical lighting inside.
outside, we put lighting.
And we would probably put some lights on the exterior as well, just to make it look more like a building. Like I said, we could build it out of frame, make it look the same though in some way where, you know, flat roof, just a rectangular building. The reason we want to use the container is in 2 years, we can just hook it up and haul it away. And it didn't all go into a waste. So one reason, second reason is the container works as a really good structure already. It's really good bones to start and build something from. So I guess our question is this even an option before we move forward that could be discussed and approved and figured out? Is the container being an option, or can we clad it with something if it's not?
I mean, those are two pointed questions.
Yeah.
So maybe let's tackle those first and then we'll pull commissioners. But I mean, I defer to Director Davis. I know top of mind, my questions are for siding materials within the Historic Design Review District. Is like corrugated metal like that an approved material? And then it sounds like a container of that type would be novel anyway, but I'm not sure if you're fluid on the regulations.
Well, that's why I thought it would be good to bring this before you, because I think once we start approving shipping containers, then there's going to be more people coming in with shipping containers. But I want to be cognizant to the fact that, you know, there's obviously the ability to design them, but how would you recommend that they be designed to, should they be having the look of the historic downtown? Should it be matching the existing building facade?
Does it count as a separate building itself and then it's not in the proper use for the downtown area? It's not technically attached to their building.
It wouldn't
It's
be
400
attached.
square feet, so it falls under the.
ADU, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what John mentioned to us.
It
When we
wouldn't-
Yeah,
when
we're
we
talking-
originally spoke to Cooper about it, this was when we spoke to about it for mini treehouse, because I needed it there. He said it gets run like an ADU, like So it's not necessarily attached, but it uses the unit's electrical, the main building.
So it's an accessory structure,
yes.
but not an accessory dwelling unit like an ADU would be,
Sorry,
but-
yes, an accessory.
But an
structure.
accessory structure that would be temporary in nature. So if I'm understanding, you'd be asking for a temporary use permit.
But it would be a couple of years. I don't know what,
Yeah, we'd have to look at the timelines on a TUP.
Yeah, and then, actually, let me pull first. Commissioner Muzia?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had two questions. One, I've seen temporary things go beyond 5 years. Do you have a hard and fast 2 years on this?
I mean,
well, we bought this new building in, no, hold on, the 8050, the front of it. We closed on it in May and we're gonna move into it in January, and it's from top to bottom. Like, except for the backside, we left the backside the way it is, but it's brand new inside.
I guess his question is how soon are we gonna remove it and
Oh,
do something else? 2
well,
years or-
We're looking at 2 years. I mean, we have to save a little bit because it's gonna cost a lot to to design the new building and then to go through all the processes and the permitting. But we're hoping,
Having that lot, we don't wanna waste.
we don't wanna waste
that
that,
real
that
estate.
revenue, yeah.
When we know we can build something and lease it out and.
Right.
So we're highly
expand and
motivated
create.
to build it. It's highly motivation, but
Okay.
we do have a young family, and life also happens, the economy happens, but God forbid. But I'm just saying anything can happen,
Well, and
but that's our goal.
yeah, she's been running the existing mini tree house for 2 years. And so now we bought a second building, we're renovating, moving her there. So we're hoping in
We're
2 years. we
converting,
can
and then when
expand.
converting the existing mini tree house into a coffee shop. So that's gonna be another fun business.
So it sounds like the goal is 2 years, but it might be longer. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Well, I never want to say 2 years, like exact, but 2 years. Well, when we were talking, I'm pretty sure I said 2 years is when I'm really aiming for it. I don't want it to be 5. Then we're losing money at that point. We're
Okay.
bleeding cash. So
Well, and at the end of the day, the constraint's probably gonna be whatever the limits of the temporary use permit are.
Well, that's actually my second question. We had a whole lot of conversations on ADUs for dwelling. Is occupation like this considered, you said an accessory, is it considered an ADU for business, or is that not in that purview?
I'm looking at temporary structures, and there is a temporary building or construction yard, but that doesn't really seem to apply. I'm not really finding. I mean, there's temporary real estate offices provided that the use is incidental, so that doesn't really fit. The code is not that flexible about what can be approved as a temporary use. There are accessory buildings and structures and uses. And how that reads is accessory building structures and uses include any building structures or uses located or conducted upon the same lot or on a contiguous lot in the same ownership as the principal building structure or use to which it's related. So I think the accessory building, I don't think the temporary use really works for them because that is more temporary in nature. So it would have to be an accessory
Accessory.
building.
Yeah.
Fine, we're okay with whatever, code that can work for this.
So
Apply for more of an accessory unit and then eventually, we'll apply for a new building permit for the back.
it does say that separate detached structures containing an accessory use or uses shall be at the minimum 10 feet from structures containing a principal use, and floor areas shall not exceed 50% of the building area.
they don't.
Of the
that's-
primary
that's met,
structure.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
it's easy.
So are you located 10 feet from the primary unit?
From the
Depending on
building,
which
yeah.
one
Well,
you measure it from.
Depends so if we're gonna leave it where it's at, right at the sidewalk, then we are. We're hoping to move it a little bit forward once we make it more,
Towards the
usable
building.
towards the building and give it a little bit more space away from the sidewalk. And we
Mostly
would
so I
have-
can walk from one building and run to the office or the back space.
So I think here, if you go back, to the drawing. I have the
Okay.
measurements there.
We have
Well-
really professional drawings.
You can zoom in.
Let me turn that off.
While you're looking
So-
for that, I just wanted to mention that the accessory building structure and use code does say that the structure or structural features must be consistent with the principal use.
Which they would be. It would be my like the office and all the
And
retail
storage for the
store.
same,
Yeah.
Seems
for the
Yeah.
same business. So if
Yep.
we move it 5 feet away from the sidewalk, we're still gonna have 10 feet away from the building.
Mona, do you mean aesthetically or as far as the content of what the building's being used for?
Right.
Does not include structures or structural features inconsistent with the principal use.
It's just
So I
that.
think both.
Well, and we can paint it to match the, let's go back to that photo, to match the back of the building. That's fine too. We can either do siding and paint to that color to kind of blend in and go more with the building. Or we can leave it, the container, if that could be approved, and paint it to match the building,
Paint the building, that same,
or paint the building.
Do
Yeah.
you have, do you have
because that
any
color is not pretty.
renderings of how you're proposing to do the building in the back? Because I know
No,
you're adding
that's-
brick to the front.
Yeah, well, the back we were gonna leave for now as is.
Okay.
And if you want to
Until
go back.
we were
look-
going
look at the
to
photos from
construct,
back.
because we're gonna construct that.
Yeah, because our plan was to
Demo
do a
that
whole
anyways.
design and everything and attach it to the back of the building,
Yeah.
build all that space out.
Attach the future
Yeah.
structure.
The
Yeah,
permanent.
there's no point of us putting a
Right
nice
here.
brick wall on the back of here right now when we're gonna,
So
Build
this
up
whole
to it.
lot, this whole gravel lot, we want to put another building there.
Right. And so if you went with the container, with the 10 feet and all that, but if the stipulation was that it be painted in line with the existing building, we'd be looking at an all-white container?
Either that, or we would
We would-
apply to paint the building a different color.
that dark hunter
Oh,
green.
That's approved part of the
Yep.
palette.
Uh-huh.
Yep, I think it would be much nicer looking at the dark hunter green.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, just the comment that Director Davis made, we will wind up, this being a success with other requests to go do this, but it does seem like our accessory code allows it, at least from what you've read there, unless there's something we're missing there. What you read,
It would be allowed under the accessory structures, but then remember, it's also in the historic overlay zone. So then we also have to look at the architectural design standards in chapter 1735.
oh, that'd be the other question. Okay, I'm good.
And that would be a tough one because those refer to like pre-war.
Pre-World War
Architecture.
II eras.
And our current building is not either. It's a
53.
1953.
But it does say continue the pattern of massing, height, bulk, and setbacks established by the existing pre-World War II structures. All new commercial or industrial structures shall relate specifically in style, massing, materials, and fenestration to at least one contributing structure, preferably to one in close proximity to the new structure.
Which is fine. We can cover it in siding, like one of the other renderings, and then paint it, the building and the container to both match.
Yeah,
Some
I
color
think,
in
I
there.
think to your point, obviously staff before formal approval would do much more deep diving on the regulations, but I think like the question that you're most curious about is like, is there room in the code to do this?
Right.
Yeah.
It seems, just with a cursory look, that there's room in the code to do this. And then I think the message starting to materialize is those designs may or may not comport with those architectural guidelines, so there might be adjustment needed there, but just, I think that's kind of where we're at. Anything else,
I'm good.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yeah, just a question on the, the end state, you guys have the ambitions to put new build or extend the building or add on into that area. And I know there's been some talk and discussion here on this planning commission, but elsewhere to really like bring Falls Avenue to life, right? I
Yep,
think
exactly.
like, you know, it's nice to see that, you know, the ice cream shops opened up the cookie shop and behind, so you have like dual like sides of the building. So would your ambition to be at some point for your business to also be accessible via Falls Avenue as it would be Railroad? Would it
We would
be?
put a different business probably in,
So-
depending on the space.
Depending on
that we would
space, I
need.
mean, we would probably use a little bit of space, not the front, but towards closer to the existing building. That would be her storage and office. But the front towards the sidewalk would be another business. And we were just talking with our tenants, the candy store, and they're like, oh, if you have more space, we're gonna take more space, you know? So it might be that they would expand and do more of their fudge and kitchen on the backside they mentioned, and more candy in the front. Lease the rest of it to another, you know, business of some sort, retail, whatever it is. And then above, we want to expand. Right now, we have one apartment on top, and we have a big deck on the side and in the front of it. We want to actually eventually expand the front of it, do maybe two units, small units of like, what do
We're
you call
thinking
it?
studio.
Like 2 studios. And then if we build the back retail, we would then build as well upstairs some more apartments with like a rooftop deck for all the tenants. So we want to really go at it at this building.
Workforce housing. We need workforce housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. I just looking to see what the ambition is for Falls.
Yeah, no, definitely. We want to, and it would probably bring something similar to what the front of this building looks to the back, where it's going to be antique brick, white and black kind of a look. What we're doing there is we would do something similar here.
So you'd have a front face on it that would be facing Falls Avenue.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yep, that's
Yep.
the plan. Yep, retail.
That's in line with what.
Doors, windows, you come in and completely other business. Bring the whole street more
To life.
to life with the arcade coming in, with our mini tree house. We've learned that this street is a little bit quieter. We're losing out on business. And so if we can make this a little bit more presentable and lively, that would be great. And, you know, kind of looking at, this is what we have right now, you know, this is right next to us and it's not very pretty. So if we can hide these things and if we can build something nicer, that'd be great. You know, I think that would bring more people and more businesses. So that's the whole purpose. And right now, this is something that would help us grow, make more money so we can build and do that.
I just wanted to pop in really quick on the heels of that and say, not only have Jana and Dimitri brought this up to me, but several other business owners on Falls and Railroad, to where we need to look at our code around shielding our garbage
Yes.
dumpsters and containers. It's becoming a real eyesore as you walk that circle block with several of the different businesses. So we have that, you know, kind of slated as hopefully a future code amendment.
Tried that
And
like
then
4
I'm
years
happy
ago.
to run through some of the architectural design
Commissioner-
standards too, if it would be helpful while we're all here together.
Might just defer to Commissioner Lambert. I think he was about to say what I was about to say.
We tried that like 4 years ago.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh,
It should be in there somewhere.
I can't find anything that speaks to trash containers or dumpsters
Go
or,
fishing around in the minutes.
If
The
you
pre,
could-
the previous chair must not have written it down.
Yeah.
So but we're also about like, and that's the thing with us purchasing these buildings. We're not keeping them the way they are. We want to make them presentable. We want to bring people in, right? And so we're hoping eventually city can kind of push on the landlords and
Yes.
make them clean up and make it more presentable. So, because we're about that. That's what we're doing with our buildings. And, you know, if our building stands out, but the neighbors next door are not doing that, it's a little bit, you know, discouraging and it doesn't help. So.
All good, Commissioner Hurley?
Nothing further. I think these kinds of improvements are definitely to be encouraged in the community. So it's great to see you guys doing this.
Awesome.
Commissioner Lambert?
Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Sorry, I'm reading the accessory building structures and uses code. Everything in there is about these accessory buildings being an auxiliary to the primary building. And so I think it allows more leniency for them to not necessarily match the codes because they are temporary or they're accessory buildings, and it's the historical, design review is really based on the main structure, not these auxiliary buildings. Have we enforced that separately? And one of the reasons I bring it back up, I've been here for a number of years and I remember this gravel lot, and I can tell you it didn't abide by any codes for a number of years.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably the best it's ever looked.
Well, I would invite you to also look at 17.35.210,
Yeah.
which is the architectural design standards in the historic overlay zone. So in addition, so in cases with the historic overlay, we have two codes that we have to navigate. So
Right.
accessory structures in the main zoning code, and then we also have to refer to the historic overlay. And so one of the things that was giving me pause is it says and it would apply because this is new construction and alterations. And so, let me see where I just saw that. It says make details on each building appropriate to its style. Use traditional finished materials found in Snoqualmie historic area, including brick, stucco, and horizontal or vertical wood siding. Modern materials and synthetic substitutes are to be avoided where they are easily visible from the street. If synthetic siding is used where it is not easily visible, it shall conform to the existing siding in dimension, profile, and relationship to the corner boards. Well, that's not really applicable. But there was something in here that said to avoid box-like designs should be avoided. And so I just want to make sure that, we're all on the same page when we're looking at something like this, because we have other business owners that are also proposing to bring in shipping containers in the downtown historic district. And so I just want to make sure we're being consistent.
And kind of on that point, I think nothing I've heard so far in the code suggests that we, not to cast aspersions or anything like that, but again, like 2 years can become 5, can become 10, can become 15, and it just might make sense to just leave it, right? And so there's nothing, I think, if we took the formal action of approving the design, that would give teeth to like limit the duration. And so my point with that is were we to approve this, right? I think we need to do so fully understanding that essentially it's a permanent thing, whether it's permanent because it makes sense to keep this specific container in that location, or permanent because it gets replicated across downtown, right? So I think that's something important to keep in mind.
Chair?
Yeah.
Just general comment, and it's kind of to Commissioner Hurley and Commissioner Lambert's point. Either we allow accessory units downtown or we don't. And if we do, a tastefully designed container as an office is not a bad way to go, particularly when before it looked like a garbage sty anyway. Either we do or we don't. And if we do, I don't see why this wouldn't work. And this seems a pretty tasteful approach to it. So, I mean, I think that's the whole thing. Either we allow accessories, because what else would it look like? Would you build a shed? Would you do a Walmart shed there? What else would you do?
Well, can you guys go back to the picture of just the back of the current state of the back of your?
Yeah.
Right here,
I'm
right now.
looking
So
at
we
it.
have.
Right there, right-hand
containers
side.
Temporarily. Yeah, and there's a shed that was there originally that one of the tenants is using. So, and it's a plastic, Walmart or whatever, so.
So right now, this is being used as a construction.
Right now, it's construction. We got it approved by John Cooper, yep, and we just
For
have
their
it there
building
temporarily for the construction permit. We're storing, tools and material in there. So we do that for all of our construction jobs that we do. I'm a general contractor. I build and remodel, so I haul these containers in and out. But you can make them look really nice and usable, and make them look like a building.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've seen whole homes made of them.
Yeah.
For real, yeah.
And our
Um,
plan is also to put a fence here.
Okay,
So
that was gonna
clean it
ask
up,
that.
close it up, make a nice little fence, hide more of whatever is not pretty and for the time being.
I'm a gardener, so you'll see planter boxes and pretty flowers. Like you see in front of Mini Tree House right now. I plant all those flowers.
And like you said, your measurements show even while maintaining 10 feet from the main structure, you'd still have 5 feet from the sidewalk
Correct. So
that
we
you
would
could put
have,
the fence line.
yep, 5 feet right here.
Yeah.
So it'd be 5 feet.
And are you
Um,
looking at closing that whole length?
Yeah, and we would probably close the whole length with some, gate entrance. And again, we would reach out to you guys about height of the fence and style, but make it a little bit more presentable. We're hoping that would help. Maybe bring in some fresh gravel to that lot and make it all nice and even at the same time.
What about shielding the garbage dumpsters? Do you have any
Well,
back there?
we only have like small ones for our, I think she only has one, right?
they show up
Lieutenant? She
Yeah,
just
so
has
she has
one
them
tiny
there,
one.
but we would definitely try to figure something out, create some sort of storage. Cause we agree. I mean, that was something we brought up to you a few
Yeah.
weeks ago that, hey, what do we do about these garbage cans everywhere?
Well, I mean, if you build the fence the entire length,
Yeah.
you've got the structure on one side, you'll still have that open area. And if you have a gate, you just bring it in and out. or-
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be covered.
So, but we would cover and hide that, yeah. So if, go ahead.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yeah, would there be like running water in there or no?
No,
No.
we don't need that. We just need lights. So we're just gonna, from the same panel, we're gonna install a small sub panel in there with some lights.
Got it.
Councilmember Johnson?
Just for reference, in the code 17.35.200 was where the planning commission had attempted to include screening for garbage cans on Falls Avenue.
Thank you. Well, I guess, any other feedback from the commission?
Okay, so can we proceed to maybe then adjust this a little bit, right? From what we understand is make it look more like the existing building, right?
Well, so give me feedback if I'm wrong, right? I feel like the commission is open, frankly, to all of the designs that you presented, right? I think they all represent an improvement of the area. Where it gets sticky and where formal approval would get hung up, or not hung up, but the points of debate would be how we interpret those architectural guidelines. And so I think, I'm thinking out loud here, I feel like next steps would be to get a better position from staff on exactly what the city code says, just to confirm that flexibility is there, both in terms of the building itself and then what flexibility exists for the planning commission in terms of the actual design standards. Going back to that adherence to pre-World War II standards. And then based on of that, I think frankly, we'll be able to give you even more specific feedback on design. If that makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's great.
Do we feel like we got that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad we had the chance to present and kind of bring this up so we can move forward and maybe others and
No, I think, again, I think the consensus here is we love to see an improvement in an individual space. We love to see people investing in Snoqualmie and downtown Snoqualmie in particular. And we love, if there was any good that came out of the Snoqualmie ice cream fire, it was the fact that they, to their credit, proactively and creatively set up the business on Falls and proved that Falls could be just as viable as Railroad, right? It helps to have the recognition that they did, but and now Falls, frankly, I think more you tell me, but I think more people just naturally more people are on falls than probably before the fire or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Well-
any of these improvements that can be made, like we certainly want to foster within the limits of the code.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else, Director Davis?
I have nothing else.
Well,
And
thank you.
then likewise, is there anything that you had hoped to get from us at this point that maybe you don't feel you've gotten yet?
No, I think this is pretty good. Yeah, this was really helpful. We got the chance to present our ideas and then we got really good feedback and we're just gonna wait for,
Well, we're gonna probably meet with staff, like we talked about,
Yep.
doing a pre-application, being like, hey, what do you guys want to see? We want to incorporate, we want to work in a partnership. And that's what we did with the 80-50 that we haven't revealed yet. But that's exactly what we did. We sat down with Mona and Andrew and a few others and we said, hey, what is it that the city would love to see? We were like, oh, here's these cool lights. They're like, no, I kind of want like, okay, so sounds good. You guys like these lights? Let's do these lights. We want to work in partnership because our goal, we're buying these buildings. This is not, we're not tenants. So this, we're dumping a lot. That's a bad word. We're investing a lot. And so it only makes sense for us to want to do better. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing, Director Davis, that I would be particularly curious about is how those proposed designs as they are, I guess, said a different way. So we have reviewed another project slated for downtown that would avail itself of modern materials. And so I'm just curious how those two projects compare.
For a brand new construction project versus,
Right? So like now on that other project, we haven't given formal approval of the design, right? We just gave feedback, but the feedback was positive, even though what they proposed was all contemporary,
Mhm.
right? So I'm curious about that.
We'll have to look at that when it comes in for a formal application.
yeah. Again, recognizing we never said
Yes,
100%
we
yes.
never actually gave any kind of decision.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just mostly feedback like today.
yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes item number 3, Design Review Board discussion on structure. Let us move now to service recognition.
Do you want to do this or
Oh,
this is really
you did the
for
work.
Commissioner Murphy. We have a certificate of service to present to you that's been signed by Mayor Ross. Do you want to just pass it down? And we just wanted to thank you for all of your service on the Planning Commission and wish you all the best as you embark on being a new city council member.
Thank you. Appreciate that. This was a great, it's been great to serve alongside just really capable people and really nice people. So it's been a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure working with staff and Councilmember Johnson as well. So excited for what the new year will bring, and I'm sure we'll probably see some of each other at some point in the future. So thank you.
On that segue, if I could just really quick, I just wanted to introduce one of our staff members. She's going to kill me because I'm putting her on the spot, but this is Ashley Ori. She's our permit technician, aspiring to be a planner. And I asked her if she'd like to come just sit in on the Planning Commission tonight because she's been working with both of our business owners on various building permits, tenant improvements, been in the pre-application meeting process. And so she's really the face of all of our permitting. And so I thought it would be nice to just be able to introduce her to you tonight so you could put a face with a name. So no pressure, Ashley. You don't have to do anything.
Go to the microphone now.
Yeah, Ashley was great about, we decided last summer to get more involved in special events. And so Ashley hung out at all the booths with me, and we really enjoyed engaging with the public and talking to people. And we had our climate survey that we were out, sparking up conversations with our local residents. And So anyway, we're looking forward to doing that again next summer because we feel like we really need to be out in the community. And Ashley's really great at just engaging with people. And so we're really happy to have her and lucky to have her. She's just getting ready to celebrate her 6-month work anniversary. So tomorrow, yeah, that's
Congratulations.
right. So
And what Director Davis didn't mention is she's planning on more winter activities, so just gear up for that.
am I?
No, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And congratulations. All right. At this time, let's move on to council liaison report with Councilmember Johnson.
All right, greetings, Commission. I have 3 items for you. The first is that the council did approve at our last meeting the critical areas ordinance. I think I told you last time that we had taken the 500 down to the 250 as recommended by Fish and Wildlife, just to be consistent with what they said, so we don't run into a problem later on. It was simpler. And then we also approved the biennium budget amendment as suggested by staff with, I believe we only had one amendment, which was to bring back a community development position that the administration had suggested doing away with. So we brought that back. We are going to have some interesting conversations about how to fund it. But given the council's priorities with regard to community development, the council felt like it was important to keep that position in-house. We talked about a lot of reasons, and at our last community development meeting just before this meeting, about a lot of the benefits of having staff available to us. Not that there aren't uses for contractors. There are certain things that contractors are really good for. Yeah. And then the last thing is that the council also had its first reading on the e-motorcycle ordinance at our last meeting. And I'd say that the council is probably likely to adopt it the next meeting. Doesn't mean the council has to. They could prove me wrong, but my guess is that they're likely to pass the motorcycle ordinance at the next meeting. It is largely similar to what I had described to you folks last time that we talked about it, with some cleanup with regard to the helmet language. If you remember that. Yeah, so it is very clear what counts as an e-motorcycle now with regard to helmets. That was all that I had to share. I'd be happy to take any questions if you have any.
Commissioner Marizia?
No, no questions.
Commissioner Murphy? Commissioner Hurley? Commissioner Lambert?
No.
None for me. Thank you so much,
And
Councilmember.
also, again, congratulations to soon-to-be Councilmember Murphy. Thanks.
All right. And Director Davis for the department report.
Well, as Councilmember Johnson just mentioned, we just had a CD committee meeting where we were going over like what we're going to work on next year for the 2026 work plan, and talking about staffing and, all the things that really need to be done and how effectively we can do that with the current staffing levels. One thing I probably should have brought up as part of that conversation was like, what's the level of service that the council members are expecting? Because I feel like we really need at least to have an associate planner here to, answer all the daily questions, property inquiries that are coming in, help review some of the building permits around our landscaping and our zoning regulations, help with pre-application meetings, help route the design review board applications, through the planning commission, work on ADUs or lot line adjustments, or, there's just so many things. And I think customer service should be a real priority for our department, and being able to help our residents that call and have questions, how to get a building permit, how to get a planning permit. And Ashley does a phenomenal job of juggling all of that, particularly in light of the fact that we are short a planner currently. So, we're a small and mighty team, but we also have a building official that's been here 28 years and keeps hinting at retirement. And so we're also looking at succession planning for the future. But I know this is our last meeting of the year. Next year, I expect that we're really going to work hard on updating our zoning map, which will require going through some extensive public processes. And with creating new zones, particularly up on the ridge where everything is currently zoned mixed use, we're going to have to rewrite some of our code regulations and create new zoning for, multifamily and retail in our business park and that type of thing. So it's going to be a heavy lift. I've let the council know tonight that what we really need is a good expert in that field that could come in, and a good planning consultant that can come in and help kind of lead that charge. So we'll be probably going out for an RFQ in the next couple of weeks just to try to at least get some costs around that. We also have other code amendments that we probably should be tackling. Wireless is one that's been on my list all year that we haven't been able to get here, just because of staffing issues, quite honestly. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a busy year next year. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. I know we've got, the hospital is in full swing right now. We've got a new intersection improvement plan that's just come in for a new light out at 99th. And so we're reviewing that, but they're hoping to be opened at least with a temporary occupancy permit by December this year. And then we also have, potentially, the model train museum may be submitted next year. The mill site has been expressing that they would like to get going on their development. So that would entail probably needing more staff to process those, land development permits. So I feel like there's also been a lot of interest from people calling about properties for sale or redevelopment of properties. We also need to tackle the affordable housing and workforce housing issues. So I think first and foremost, as part of our zoning map update, we need to try to figure out where we're going to accommodate the different forms of housing that the state's requesting us to provide as part of our growth targets. So there's a lot on our plate for next year, so I don't think we'll be bored. I had at one point thought about considering asking the Planning Commission to reduce meetings to one time a month, but then in light of everything that we need to do, I thought it was better to keep at our 2 meetings a month with the understanding that some of those months we may cancel that second meeting, but at least you're all prepared and you've blocked your calendars out those nights, so we wouldn't have an issue with having a quorum. So anyway, we need to be thinking about finding new commissioners to fill vacant seats. We've got 2 vacant openings. So if you know of anybody that you think would like to serve on the commission, certainly ask them to apply. And that would be something the mayor would do an appointment after the first of the year, likely. So that's pretty much all I have. It was really nice that we had a potluck and all that good food is sitting over there going uneaten. But hopefully we can gather after our meeting.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Director Davis. And on that note, let's move to future agenda topics and or questions for Director Davis. Starting with Commissioner Rizzo.
Okay, I've got 4 things. I will be quick. It's really great that downtown Snoqualmie is rebirthing, but other than a weekend coffee, I think, on the Center Street, you walk down Center Street, you realize since August, we lost Infusion and Mushashi and the Swirl, I think, last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So I'm wondering, is there anything that we've done or that is causing struggles for Center Street? And is there anything else we should be doing? Because as much as I'm happy what's going on downtown, Center Street looks grim, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. We've actually had interest in, we had a pre-app on someone that wanted to come in and do I think it was like a golf simulator kind of business with like a little bar and grill associated with it and infusion. And then I know that there are other local businesses that may be interested in occupying the swirl
Mhm.
with a different kind of retail or restaurant kind of
But it's nothing
prototype.
we've done. I mean, because we
Nothing that-
focused very
I
hard
don't think
saying,
it's anything we've done. No.
Okay. okay.
I think it's just, I don't know if it's just the economy right now or
The
Okay.
individual
I think
business
it's hard
front.
to operate a small business right now, so.
Okay.
Downtown Snoqualmie's cooler.
And you mentioned Fish and Wildlife, and about a year and a half ago, they calmly announced, and it was announced here, that they were going to introduce grizzlies in the Cascade. I asked, is it really a good idea doing the apex predator? And we got a 500-page report saying they were in the past, so it's good to do it now. On November 22nd, I think most of you have heard, there was a grizzly bear attack in BC that injured 11, two seriously, actually 2 critical, 2 seriously, 7 injured at a school. And I don't know if you guys have seen the video because they were talking about the heroic teacher. The heroic teacher has got a sidearm that he's cranking a ticked off grizzly bear, he's unloading at it as it's charging him. So at any rate, I'm wondering if the Fish and Wildlife would reconsider introducing grizzly bears into the Cascades in light of that November 22nd attack in British Columbia. If you want the link, I can send it to you. It's pretty horrifying seeing that video. Wow. Just bring that up because it was initially briefed to us. Another thing, kind of off the wall, don't know if you guys ever watched Tracker, but this guy goes to find people that are lost. In one of the cases, they took one of the serial killers out of jail, and they wanted to go to a burial place. And he goes, yeah, you go down on 90, you get off the Snoqualmie Parkway, you take 96, which is across from the hospital. And so I don't know if they filmed there, but I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. That's where they mentioned Snoqualmie. So yeah, that was disturbing. I think we can do a better look than have a burial ground across from the hospital anyway. Did you guys see that?
Was that on?
A tracker.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was last week or the week before. But it was bizarre how precisely they described it. Last point on the affordable housing and things like that. A friend of mine that I work out with a lot lives in Sammamish, and he was very in tune to that whole push for 4,000, going from 2,000 to 4,000 in the Sammamish Town Center. And it became so raucous and so hostile that 3 council members lost their seats that supported the 4,000. And it seems like the voters are like, no, we want this at 2,000, never mind what the state wants or even what the staff recommended. This is what we want. So I wondered if perhaps there might be some lessons learned from that experience when we talk about zoning and affordable housing.
I think all cities are grappling with that, but definitely that's something that I think everybody is talking about right now.
So,
Because we have our own numbers that we're expected to meet. And the 0 to 30% housing is going to be a heavy lift for the city without subsidizing, which I'm not sure how that would work. So
when you say that, you usually give up the property tax. And that means the schools are subsidizing it. I mean, just be very clear. That's what winds up happening.
well, there's still a school impact fee that would get paid.
Anyway.
As a one-time.
As a
I don't
one-time
wanna
payment,
I want to be
yeah.
quick, because we do have stuff over there, but I think maybe we should do a lessons learned on what happened with Sammamish. I think there's something that we could learn from there. That's all good.
All good. Commissioner Murphy, Commissioner Hurley, Commissioner Lambert.
Yeah, one little thing. Is there any way to get like a small snippet of what is happening down here on 202? I know they're expanding the trail and, all the construction down there.
For the river
Yeah,
trail?
I get it. And I've seen Dylan's report, but it's like 210 pages long.
Oh,
Like just some small little like, hey, this is this section.
There's
be
been
wonderful for,
something on our website under projects.
there are, and it's that 210 page.
Well, and to your point, I think
PowerPoint.
in the most recent Ross report, I don't think they flagged that project, even though it's a big win, big start.
Yeah,
Might be wrong, Councilmember Jones.
and maybe I missed it, so.
Yeah, I want to mention that the report that I saw on the website is also the original vision, not the one that is actually happening. So I've been talking to Parks Public Works about that. Apparently, there may be some requirements for grants and funding to have the original one there as to why that's still there. But to say that something updated could be on the website is a reasonable thing to ask about for sure.
I'll mention it to Dylan.
I mean, even just like a map. It's just like you click on the map and it's like a little thumbnail and it goes, oh, there you go.
Anything else, Commissioner Lambert?
No, sir.
I had one question since you raised the hospital expansion. I know when we were looking at that, there was some serious talk about creating a full intersection there, the light and everything. Is anything happening toward that end?
They are proposing a new stoplight, stop signal or signalization at
Signalization.
99th and
Oh, that-
the
oh,
Parkway.
That's 99th? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So is part of that like a traffic study?
Yes, I believe there is a traffic study included in that, and their traffic engineers and our traffic engineers are coordinating that review with WashDOT. WashDOT's also involved, so they have there's an ICE report, intersection control evaluation, I think they've been going through all the studies as part of that and coordinating on the traffic.
And so is that all at is all that going to reside at the state level, or is any of that come back to the city?
The city is processing the permit. So there's also WashDOT overview because of the proximity with Highway 18 and I-90.
Okay. Okay.
But it's definitely in the city's jurisdiction, and the city will be processing the clear and grade permit for that traffic signal. And our traffic consultants are reviewing that in conjunction with working with Public Works.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right. That concludes future agenda topics and items of commissioner interest at this time. It's currently 8:19 p.m. I move that we conclude the planning commission for December 1st. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? It passes. Thank you and good night.